Good morning everybody and welcome to Caffè Cagliari Training Center. Today we'll be talking about one of the most famous drinks in the world, which is cappuccino. We'll consider just the traditional Italian cappuccino, meaning that we'll consider a full-fat milk, fresh and straight out of the fridge, to make sure that the temperature doesn't go above 4 degrees Celsius. Technically speaking, cappuccino is 1 part of coffee, 2 parts of hot milk and 2 parts of steamed milk, as in crema di latte. For our milk, we want to consider at least a 3% of proteins and fats. Why that? In order to have body and cream in our final drink. You can also use skim milk or lactose-free milk or even plant-based milks. It doesn't actually matter because they all have proteins and fats, although of different nature. Now that we have our milk straight out of the fridge, we'll pour it inside of our pitcher. Don't fill it up too much because it will increase its volume while steaming your milk. So you want to keep the level of the milk just right below the line of the spout here. And then we can proceed in 2 ways. We can leave the pitcher sitting on the tray here with the steamed ones inside. Although I wouldn't recommend that, I would definitely recommend to hold the pitcher while you're steaming your milk with your hand on the side here, so that you have more control over the temperature. Temperature is quite important in steaming the milk. Milk proteins will break down and become something different at 70 degrees Celsius and will give our espressos an unpleasant taste. And we don't want that. We want to keep the milk, the temperature of the milk, in a range between 55 and 65 degrees Celsius. You know that the right temperature is reached when you actually can't hold the pitcher any longer because the heat has become quite unbearable. If you don't feel comfortable enough in controlling the temperature, you can also use a food thermometer. This will give you the right indication when you've reached the right temperature. So you want to insert the thermometer in your pitcher while you're steaming your milk, so that you have more control. Now we'll mentally divide our pitcher into 4 quarters, just like that. In this way we'll have an indication in where to collocate our steam wands. The steam wand will go on in our top left quarter here. Now that we're set to go, we can proceed with the extraction of our coffee first, so that we can keep the product as fresh as possible. One of the most important things is to make sure you flush and purge your steam wand just before and after frothing as well. You've got some impurities and some leftover water inside of your steam wand, and we don't want that because it will just dilute our milk even more. So as you can see, just a few flush, that will do. Then we can proceed with the steaming. The steam wand should sit just right on the surface of your milk. So we'll let air come through the milk and whip the milk as well. We don't want too much air because it will get too bubbly, just the right amount. Steaming requires a lot of exercise and a lot of practice. Just keep an eye on it, and once you've reached the right texture, we can lift the pitcher up so that we won't have any more air coming through. We'll just keep increasing the temperature. Once you're happy with the temperature, and as I mentioned before, I know because I can't hold the pitcher any longer, we'll remove the pitcher. And the second most important step is to clean and wipe your steam wand. We don't want to leave it like that. You can use a wet cloth and give it a good wipe. That oat milk will make our cappuccino taste cheesy. And then flush it. Then we're good to go for pouring. Just remember every time that your milk is steamed to give it a good twirl. You want to give it a good twirl and maybe also a few taps, just in case you have some bubbles on your milk. You'll see when it's ready because it looks like paint almost. It will look like silk, and now you'll know that your milk is ready for the pouring. Before pouring, make sure you mix your coffee as well. we want to conglomerate all the flavors in one single drink, so we always want to mix it first. There aren't a lot of rules about pouring. I can tell you though that it requires exercise and practice, but we first start holding the pitcher a little bit higher than the cup. And as we finish with the extraction, we move closer